Hi everyone, my name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video. As you will know by the title, this is my October bullet journal setup. So recently I have posted my new bullet journal setup. This is my Archer and Olive in the B5 size. I am so excited to start this notebook. As you know, if you have watched my channel, I go through a bullet journal about every 3 months or so it's nice for me because I can really try out different notebooks. I'm not waiting an entire year to try out a new one. So getting into this setup, of course I'm using this brown paper, and it is actually from a Kraft envelope because I do believe in recycling, and that's really all I had on hand. I didn't go out and buy a special notebook paper or anything. And so I'm using my Mitsubishi Unipin fine liners. I believe I first saw these on Jenny Journal's channel. So I'll link her channel too below because she's really cool to watch. She has a lot of great ideas and she's very artistic. So I think I did this in my very first bullet journal was a fall leaf theme. And I think I added something a little extra this time going around. The first journal, other than the final flip through, I never had any of my spreads on YouTube. So this theme is actually a first for me for my YouTube journey. And coming from the initial bullet journal setup, I decided I really liked the way the boxes were, where you draw them loosely and then you go over it a second time. I have not used a ruler in this setup at all, which I'm very surprised at because I usually do. And I wanted to make it more of a very loose theme where the leaves were drawn very loosely and very airy and light because I am using watercolor brushes. So not necessarily watercolor paints, but of course you'll see what I do after I'm done lettering in all of the words. This is a quote by Emily Bronte, and it says, "Every leaf speaks bliss to me, falling from the autumn trees." And I thought it was the perfect quote for this theme, and I can let you continue watching as I fill in color in this spread. As for all of the pens and products I am using in this video, as usual, I will leave them listed down below. I do not have all of the colors listed down below because some of the pens don't actually have names. The Sailor Shikiri pens don't have names in English, so I have no idea what colors they are, but I did use a variety of fall colors. So for the most part, I am using my Sailor Shikiri pens. I'm using some Sakura Koi coloring brush pens, as well as a couple of Tombos, but mostly these new Mozart real brush pens. So they're actually a paintbrush, and I'm using this Zig Real Clean, or I think it's called the Real Brush Clean Color brush pen. And it's a blender. I only have the blender, I don't have any colors in that brand, but I am using it with these Mozart Real Brush pens, and it seems to work really, really well. So with some of the leaves, I decide to color the entire thing using the brush pen itself, and others I am using the blender just to give it a bit of variation. So some of the leaves are lighter and more watercolory, if that makes sense, and then some of them are filled in completely using the actual brush pen. Moving on to my October calendar, I have been loving this style of calendar, and I don't normally love it. I usually do a list-like calendar, but I find that this is so much easier to decorate and add some leaves around the calendar itself. So we are drawing out all of the leaves, and I'm using the same lettering style that I used in Emily Bronte's quote. And on the left-hand side, I have a goal section for professional and personal goals, and also tasks for the entire month. I don't usually have a lot of room for this section because I like to really lay it out during the week, but these are for more goals that I'm not really sure belong to a particular day, and that's where I like to leave it. And of course, on the top right, I have my YouTube growth tracker. And I also just wanted to give a shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you guys so much for following me and for watching my videos, because it means a lot that other people actually care about what I do, and it just feels really good knowing there's other people out there, other creatives, and I'm glad that you enjoy my content. So for some of these boxes, I'm using a variety of colors to fill some of them in, and others I am just outlining them with the color. But in the end, you know what, this wasn't actually my favorite spread. I'm not completely happy with it, but the beauty of it is that 1 month flies by and I can move on to the next. Moving along to this next spread, this is where I post my filming and my posting schedule. So I like to have an area in my bullet journal where I kind of schedule my routine during the month, where I know what videos are going to be posted, and I can kind of schedule my filming dates around the posting dates. And then on the right hand side, I have my video ideas for both stationery and makeup, and underneath that I have my stats and doodles. So this month I've really changed things up because, again, I'm no longer doing a daily kind of bullet journal section. I just cut it down to a weekly, which I used to do, but now that I'm in this larger journal, I do feel like I have a lot more room to play with. Not only is there more space to doodle around the margins, but it also leaves the page more room to breathe, which I love. And you wouldn't think that a B5 is much bigger than an A5, but it actually is. Those couple of grid spaces on the page really do give you the room to add more to your page. So this section, again, I used to add my statistics for YouTube to the weekly page, and I kind of did away with that, which you'll see. There's a grocery shopping list that I've done for the entire month, and it makes more sense for me in this journal. And again, because I get bored so quickly, I like to change things up every journal just to see how I like it and if it's going to work or not. So here I am coloring in the few doodles I did at the bottom of the page, and then we will move on to the next one shortly. This spread is my October books and movies and TV shows, where I write down all of the books that I've read. It is not a bucket list. These are things that I've actually done on the left-hand side. So I don't actually have that many books that I read in a month, only because I've been going through the Outlander series right now, and as you guys know, they're very large books. And I also only am able to read at nighttime because my daughter is up pretty much all day and I don't have time to read here and there. So I usually catch about half an hour of reading time at night, and TV shows is usually while we're eating supper, I'm afraid. So again, these are just ones that I have watched. It is not for anything to watch in the future. That is what the check it out spread at the beginning of my notebook, and because I said that, I will leave a link for the beginning setup of this notebook. If you are curious, please go ahead and check that out. On the right hand side is a place where I like to write down all of the stationery and the makeup I'm interested in getting, and this is just a nice place for me to write it down, because before I would randomly put it in my phone or have notes here and there, or have some products in my Amazon cart and some on these various websites. So I just like to write it down, and also these pages kind of are a reflection when I go back and look at my journals. It's in that it's kind of like a feelings, thoughts journal, but I can see where I was at with like my books and movies and TV shows in my life. So I like kind of looking back on the memory of things as well. This is my October health tracker page. So the very first thing I add here is my weight tracker, and this hasn't changed. I've carried this through right from the very beginning notebook that I've posted on YouTube, but I have changed my habits a little bit. So previous journals, I would track my habits on their own page, and this time I decided to add just the health habits to this page, if that makes sense. So I have, for instance, taking my inhaler. I do have a pretty bad case of asthma, so I have a steroid inhaler that I have to take multiple times throughout the day, and I like to track that, as well as water and taking my vitamins and some stomach pills. So it's important that I have a tracker for those things, but at the same time, I'm glad that I have it all in one page, as in like a health section, instead of just with all of my other habits I like to track. And these next two pages, I figured that they belonged next to the health tracker because these are more for mental health, really, when you think about it. So one page I have gratitudes, which I do notice has really helped change my perspective and outlook on life, where if you find looking down on things, like being very negative in your life in general, writing down, like the physical act of writing something down that you're grateful for every day, really it forces you to see the positive, and it really helped me, which is why I like to continue it going forward. And the right hand side is a check-in page where I can do a little bit of journaling about my emotional and mental state, physical state, and a little bit about professional, which for me would be mostly my YouTube channel and bullet journaling videos, stuff like that. This next spread is my dream log, and I find that I haven't been, I guess, remembering my dreams as much. I know I dream every night, I just don't remember them. So I've dedicated one page to that, and the next is my mood tracker, and I thought it would be neat to draw a variety of leaves and just have each leaf as a day, and then I can color in my mood for that respective day. I've also included pages for my kids in my bullet journal. So this first one is my daughter's sleep schedule, and I've been finding it helpful to track when she sleeps. There are times that I lose track and I forget to write it down, which I guess is kind of pointless, because in order for it to make any sense to me or to work or do what its purpose is for, I really do need to track every single time she goes to sleep. So I've been getting into a better habit of just, as soon as she sleeps, there at my bullet journal writing it in. This next spread is Connor's school page. So again, it's just a spot I can continually go to in this bullet journal at least to look for any passwords if I don't remember them, or any special things going on at school, anything like that at all to do with school. This spread is my Doodle a Day spread, so I leave this one completely blank because of course I fill it in with doodles, and I haven't picked which one I'm going to do this month. But you know what, you guys? The Simpsons have been calling to me. I don't know why, but that's what you might see at the end of the month. I usually post a picture of the finished work on Instagram, so if you're curious, you should go check that out. So this is the spread where I decided, instead of doing it on a weekly basis, I would have a whole like 2-page spread for grocery shopping. So of course at the top it just says October shopping list, and then I've got a space for week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. This is the final spread in this October setup, and of course this is my weekly. So I've included a whole bunch of things on this page. It's going to look really busy, and at the same time I'm really happy that I have this much room in this bullet journal to work with, because for the first time ever since starting bullet journaling, I've actually added this weekly habit tracker. And some of these ideas are pulled over from Claudia Joseph, because this was kind of a setup that I've seen in her journals, and I really like it. It's a very efficient use of space. So on the top, I put October as also week 1, which I usually never include, but it's nice to be able to keep track of the weeks. I've added a mini calendar to the top left, as well as some doodles around the page, then my habits on the left-hand side, as well as a little note section. And then these boxes are kind of close to the middle spine of the book. So I've got a Sunday through to Saturday, and because I don't put my weekend together, I like to have a Sunday start. I put Friday and Saturday at the end, and they are smaller, just as if they were a weekend, and usually my Friday is pretty mundane. I don't do any crazy partying or anything. I don't have a lot going on Friday, Saturday, so it's okay that they're a little bit smaller. And I mean, if you look at it, I still have tons and tons of room. And on the right hand side, I have a little spot for next week. So as I continue coloring this page in, I just again wanted to thank everybody for your continued patronage and your support, and thank you to anybody else who subscribes. So I'll give my little blurb, and then you guys are going to see the final flip through, which I'll let you enjoy without me talking. And I just, again, would like to remind you guys that if you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it does help the stats in the end. And also, if you're new here, I would love if you subscribed. Please join our little family that I'm growing slowly but surely. And last but not least, don't forget to click the bell notification button in the corner, because you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So without further ado, I'm going to let you continue watching this in peace, and I will have a final flip through at the end. Take care, you guys!